Hello, I'm Ryan Kennedy. Wake up. It is still dark outside. Waking up you two friends, you start to get ready in the morning, brewing some coffee to wake yourselves. You hear a knock on the door, and the mountain guide comes in that you hired for the day to help you gather intel on picking out the best slope for the mountain to ride that day. You put on your warm base layers, and then your warm mid-weight layers, followed by a fleece, and then you top that off with your snow jacket and your snow pants. The guide has picked out a couple faces on the mountain that he feels received a good 12 inches of Alaskan powder last night. You friends and you give one last more tug on your boots to tie them tight. Grabbing your mittens, your hat, and your goggles, you step outside. From the east side's rising sun, you can hear the helicopter coming louder and louder. You drop your snowboard off in your bin, and then you hop in the helicopter, suit up, put your helmet on, your mic up, and make sure you're up and running. Taking the guide with you, you find a 5,000-foot vertical spine running down the face of the mountain that you had picked earlier. Exiting the helicopter on the top of that mountain, you continually looking for loose snow conditions and avalanche conditions. The guide and yourself feel it is safe. You and your first class ride, it is now stepped out in front of you and you begin filming. You tighten your mittens and you look down the mountain. Followed by a drop and a toe side turn, you are now screaming, knee-deep in powder, doing acrobatic flips, jumping off the cliff that is in front of you now. This is all in a day's work for many pro snowboarders, and they are no longer competing in contests, and they are out there remotely searching for backcountry snow-capped mountains, all to get the best shot on film. Now let's see where the sport started and who the pioneers were. The first time that a single ski was used in the manner of snowboarding was in the 1930s in Michigan, where a farmer used his horses to pull alongside of him. It was a piece of his fence post with two leather straps attached to it. Transworld Snowboarding magazine told us this, that in 1960 the snurfer was invented, which was much more of a surfboard-shaped board for the snow. It was very basic, it had no bindings, and it was very dangerous to ride. But it was not until the late 70s that snowboarding took form as we know it today. The two true pioneers of the sport were Jake Burton Carpenter and Tom Sims. Jake Carpenter was from Vermont, and Tom Sims was from California. They both were gravitated by the feelings of single skiing down the mountain like surfing. They incorporated bindings to be used for foot support on their snowboard, strapping your feet in place, and they each started their own respectable snowboarding manufacturing companies. Jake Carpenter started Burton Snowboardings, and Tom Sims started Sims Snowboardings. In 1982, the first National Snowboarding Championship was held in Suicide Ski Area, Woodstock, Vermont. Excuse me. Snowboarding for now was mostly consisted of high speeds and cars down the mountain, kind of like slalom skiing. It was not until 1983 that Tom Sims started the first competition with a halfpipe. This is where snowboarders began gaining air and doing inversions, spinning, flipping. This competition was located at Soda Springs Ski Bowl in the Lake Tahoe ski area. A few years later, snowboarding was showing that it was going global, and in 1987, the first Snowboarding World Cup was started. Also, this was the first major snowboarding contest with corporate-sponsored ships such as O'Neill, Suzuki, and Swatch. In 1990, the increased capacity of the sport fosters a Hall of Fame located in Breckenridge, Colorado. Snowboarders have always been pushing the envelope with progression, and the sport needed some help from the ski resorts. That's when a premier resort in Colorado's city of Vail created what we know today as the Snowboard Park, which includes everything from jumps, half pipes, rails, and everything needed for an aspiring snowboarder. Now let's talk about the snowboarding leading up to the Olympics. Snowboarding was gaining popularity with all ages of riders, young and old. It wasn't just the skater persona anymore. In 1995 through 1996, snowboarding grew 32.5% in sales, according to the NSGA, the National Sporting Goods Administration, Art Lau says. According to the ASD, the American Data Association, in 1996 and 97 as well, snowboarding grew an additional 33%. This is now when we see designs implemented on the snowboard such as high back bindings, twin directional tips for riding smoothly down the face of the mountain, front and back, and now now major mountains across the area's ski resorts are following word that snowboarding is here to stay and making provisions on the mountain for the riders. Copying the snowboard parks set up from the resort in Vail, ski resorts are now creating parks for riders everywhere. This led to in '98 in the Olympics, where snowboarding was the first event ever held of its kind. Snowboarding has, in its short lifetime, 30 years, made it into the spotlight as an Olympic sporting event. In '98 games, there were 2 American medalists. Todd Richards tells us this, that they were Ross Powers with bronze in the halfpipe for men and Shannon Dunn in the halfpipe for the females. Todd was on the snowboard team and was expected to win gold. He was withstanding the nasty conditions on the training day, and on the medal round fell and finished 4th. Snowboarding is now in the limelight of the most prestigious sporting games. Following the Olympics in Salt Lake City, Utah, this was the most televised Olympic sport in NBC's history. And now this is millions of dollars being spent on sponsorship and board design. If you're now wondering how to get involved in the sport, I will show you the snowboard and the basics of using gravity to get down the mountain. Learning how to snowboard isn't a fun and exciting process. You will often find yourself on your backside more than not while learning how to snowboard. For starters, all that is required is acceptable winter gear. For all winter sports activities, you're going to need a snowboard with boots and bindings. After you get your snowboard and your boots and your bindings, you need to get to the top of the mountain. At the top of the mountain, you will know which way to stand so that you do not lose balance. Common ways of to know which way to stand are that your feet are the same way. So which way you would stand if you're batting like a baseball, that would be your foot in the back, or some people like to say with a soccer ball, the foot you're going to use to kick a soccer ball, that's the foot in the back. Strap in your feet at the top of the hill with your boards and the bindings, stand up. Now you need to learn how to go down the mountain, and it's all about weight control and transitioning from edge to edge. To turn, you have to transfer your weight from edge to edge, and once you need to stop, if you're on an edge, you hold it down and you continually slide down on that edge. To transfer your weight, you keep it there while you're holding, and then when you need to start going again, you lean forward, drop in, transfer your weight to the other edge, and you're off. So it's continually transferring from edge to edge, and you can stop on either edge. The use of safety pads such as wrist guards and helmets is recommended while snowboarding so you do not hurt yourself while riding. Now that you know how snowboarding began, grew, and how yourself can grow within the sport of snowboarding, I hope you have a better understanding of the sport and the joys many people experience yearly snowboarding. Some may find snowboarding to be a way of life or a passion. For me and my family, we find it as spending quality time together every winter going out on the mountain. Going on trips every winter with my family will truly never be forgotten, and I have to pay tribute to snowboarding for making it possible. Thank you very much. Fuck you, speech class. I'm turning that in and getting a D or a C. I do not care.